That's
Oh,
true.
very good. Very good. All right, guys. So I'll just do some of the introductions and then we'll have amazing facilitators who would give extensive details about the various pathways in tech, right? So I'll just handle the introductions. So I will start with the game's vision and mission. So some of you have heard of games, or I would assume that the first thing you'd think about games, right, is that we are a game development company. Is the first impression people tend to have until they realize that it's an acronym. So before I proceed very quickly, I'm going to ask, how many of you thought games was all about game development, maybe software development around games? Anyone?
I did.
Okay. Chisom, Chisom thought were all about games. Anyone else? Okay, so maybe others did not, but then we have one example. So GAMES is an acronym, right? It stands for the Global Academy of Mathematical and Economic Sciences, right? Much what we are doing is we train or we develop talents across careers where mathematics, economics, computing find application. So in most top careers today, whether it is in tech or in finance, you find mathematics or economics having strong underpinnings. So if you're building software, for example, you might never need to write mathematics, right? But at the background, okay, underlying the algorithms, what you have, okay, is a lot of mathematical logic driving the implementation that you see, right? So we just coined it that way, mathematical and economic sciences. And by doing that, it covers a wide range of careers. And these elements form the underpinnings for all of this. And so we want to be able to, want to become the global standard of high impact talent development and deployment. That is, we want to build talents at games and want to deploy them, want to outsource them to the world for them to begin to make a lot of impact at the global level, right? That's the vision. Then the mission is to raise the next generation of sterling global talents by leveraging precision-driven learning models and deploying the finest didactic methods to prepare them for high-impact careers of the future. Okay, so before we begin to talk about the tech and all of those details and the tracks we have at games, we want you to understand what the mission is, so that you understand the methods of madness, right? We want you to understand what is driving us and what we are driven by, what is fueling what we're doing, and gets to, right? So let me deconstruct this, this whole grammatical structure we have here, because we have a really long sentence here. So what does it really mean, right? The first part of the sentence, we want to raise the next generation of sterling global talents, which means we want to raise the next generation of high flyers, right? People are recognized as well baked and well put for the job that they're there for, right? And how do we accomplish this? We would be leveraging precision-driven learning models. That is, we are going to, we have been able to, look through a couple of learning models, and in our training delivery, we identify the ones that are driven by precision. And so we want to precisely communicate the ideas that you need to be built across those skill areas. We want to equip you and furnish you with the range of skills you will need to stand, strong when you break in. You won't become an expert in 4 months when we teach you, or 6 months when we teach you, right? You can't become an expert even in a year. But we will give you what it takes to have your bearing in the field and to be able to start. Okay? And how do we accomplish this? We will be deploying the finest didactic methods, which means our instructional methods. All right, our instructional methods are going to be so enriching that you would be able to, in class, grasp the ideas and follow the pace, right? You will be able to engage at a level where you are capturing the most concepts, and you are able to assimilate them well enough to synthesize them. You understand them well enough so that you're not just going out to something that your instructor said, but something you have been understood enough that it's now your own point of view, it's now your own perspective, and that perspective is sharp and the perspective is right. And when we can do this, then we are getting you ready to break into the career space. We're getting you ready for relevant careers of the future. That's just pretty much the mission. And we are resilently and relentlessly pursuing all the efforts to accomplish this. Now, let's go to the virtues and the values of Games Consort. So you'll be thinking, who are these guys? What really are they all about? Okay, we have looked at the vision and the mission. And so what are the values really? Okay, and we have this set of values that we have thoroughly identified, and we are ready to inculcate not just within the games staffing, but also within everyone who comes across us, our partners, our learners, our communities. We want to be able to carry the mindset that we carry and work in the execution that we work in the style of execution that usually characterizes people at Games Consort. So we have the growth mindset, we have the excellence mindset, we have the CLCD mindset. Now, when we say CLCD, it's just a style borrowed from software engineering. Pretty much what CLCD stands for is continuous learning, continuous development. Then we have global thinking, innovative thinking, disruptive thinking. We have high standards execution, we have collaborative problem solving, and we have elegance in simplicity. Very quickly, I'm going to ask you this. How many bullet points do we have on this slide?
I think 9.
Okay, we have 9. So if you take a look at this, do you observe any pattern just looking at this slide? Does any pattern come to mind? You look at the first 3 points, the second set of 3 points, and the final 3 points. Is there something you observe with the pattern, in the structure, in these values that we have listed out? Does anyone observe any striking pattern?
Everything, I believe everything has to do with the thoughts, like our mindset, like improving and shaping our mindset.
Okay, that's impressive.
The first 3 have to do with mindset.
Okay.
The 4 to 6 is the thinking capability. And while the last 3 is like how to execute and solve the problem.
Okay, that's brilliant. Anyone else? Okay, so let's deconstruct this, right? We have 9 bullet points, and they all fall. They fall across 3 categories. The first 3 falls under the mindset category. To come into games and have an enriched mindset, right? A recalibrated mindset. That mindset would properly align your thinking, so you begin to think in the right direction. Because it doesn't matter how fast you want to execute, it doesn't matter your speed, your acceleration, direction is just an exercise in futility. Speed in the wrong direction is a waste. So it starts with the mindset. A lot of people want to start by thinking new things when their mind has not, been recalibrated to accustomed to new things. So we want, to establish the mindset aspect and recalibrate your mindset for high impact growth and for, value generation and delivery. Then when that is accomplished, your thinking, your reasoning processes, your thought processes become properly aligned in the direction that allows you to innovate, the direction that allows you to solve problems, the directions that allow you to accomplish the last 3 points here, which have to do with execution, which are what delivery. So let's now, take them step by step. So the first part fall under the habitual category of values. So we have identified this as habitual. That is, we want this to be resident in you, to form your habits, right? To strengthen your habits. We want them to be resident inside you. And for these to be resident inside you, your mindset will need to be recalibrated for growth, for continuous learning and continuous development. One of the things that you would, when you come into games, when you when you find yourself in the games community, one of the things you'll be pushed, into, one of the things that you'll be stimulated with is, the continuous test for excellence and for learning. You would not be satisfied with being small or being, you'll be interacting with people who are doing so well, right? People who are high flyers, and you want to measure up to that level. So you would always be aggressive for your growth. And before you know it, you find that it is already resident in you, this kind of mindset that allows you to, to get further and further ahead in your goals and in the aspirations that you have for your career. Then the second level is a level of the reasoning. Think globally, I want you to think innovatively, I want you to think disruptively. That is, don't just think locally or for the Nigerian setting. Some of you want to break into tech and you're thinking of, getting jobs, within Nigeria. It's always good, to start at home, but don't just limit yourself to the Nigerian space alone, right? But if you are starting out, it can be a good start to start here. But always know that there's still the larger world to conquer, right? It doesn't mean they are not high-paying careers in Nigeria or very very successful that can build in the Nigerian space. But you just know that that's just one of your options. You still have other options at the global level, right? So we want you to be able to think globally. Then we want you to be able to think innovatively, which means find new ways of doing things and find how to generate value out of those things, right? You should be able to think in terms of value streams, how to generate value streams from things you're doing, find new ways of doing those things, be able to commercialize those things, be able to bring them to, to the level where the everyday user can be able to use those things, use those solutions. You're not just doing things for a specific set of people, a narrow set of people. You break down complexity into simpler details that anybody, anywhere, anytime can be able to make use of those solutions. Then we want you to be able to think disruptively, that is, be able to break new grounds, new frontiers, right? Be able to dismiss the status quo and break out of the status quo, break out of limitations. When people say it is impossible, you redefine the impossible, right? You recreate new systems that allow, that push the frontiers of a particular sector, right? For those of you who will be breaking into data science, breaking into software engineering, we want you to be able to eventually, within 2, 3, 4 years of a career, having this mindset, you eventually get to a point where you're bringing up new disruptive solutions that people never thought was possible. So you are defining the impossible, you are reimagining the impossible, and you are bringing people, you are getting people into a future that they never thought was possible. That's what we want to achieve. When we want to think disruptively. Now let's go to the third layer. When your reasoning has been properly aligned, then it comes to the level of delivery, right? Many people want to bring up new things. Many people want to innovate. They want to solve problems. They want to break new grounds, right? But they don't realize that there are levels to get to that point. Okay, there are initial levels you have to go through, and you don't jump the processes. You have to frame your mindset appropriately, and then calibrate your thoughts, your thinking, and your reasoning, your thought processes along that line of your mindset. And then when you have gotten to that point, you get to the delivery stage where you begin to produce results that people get amazed and wonder, who is this person? How did they think about this? And pretty much that's how you solve problems. High standards execution, all right? Have the mind that anything you want to do, you want to deliver the best quality results. Let people see what you have done and know that this person has come up with this solution. We just know this is the signature. Then always have the mindset of collaboration rather than competition. Many people want to solve problems, but they want to solve it themselves. And so they want to be competitive. They want to, they want to start. They want to start out by being. They want to be known as a sole executioner, or they solely or independently arrive at the solutions. But sometimes you need extra minds to look at something, to rethink the perspectives, to create new structures, to strengthen what you previously had on ground, and to bring out something that is very excellent. Then elegance and simplicity, which means it doesn't matter how far you've gone or how well you can do things. All right, always see the elegance and simplicity. Try to simplify things. Try to have even a simple approach to doing things. Right? Don't be too too carried away by by the possibilities and complexity that you fail to realize that the everyday user just really wants to interact with simple solutions, right? And so be able to create elegant solutions that are simple enough. So at games, the community we are building at games, we want people to inculcate these values in them. Not just within ourselves as the team, the games team, but also within the community as a whole, our squad of learners, our partners, and everyone who comes in contact with games. We want you to see these things and want you to begin to rethink, your mindset. We want you to be to start rethinking your reasoning and your execution and delivery to align yourselves with the things that really work. All right. So I hope you get the breakdown. Does this breakdown, the 3-level breakdown, does it resonate with you? Is this something that you see to be practical, something that you want to embrace? I would like to know very quickly before I proceed. Very quickly, anyone? You can type in the comments. Yes, Adejuwon says yes. I'm so sorry if I can't pronounce your names. All right. So now that we have gotten to this point, I would now hand it over to Mr. Samuel, if he's ready for us. So Samuel is going to walk us through, he's going to walk us through the learning structure at games. He would introduce, what's it called? He would introduce tech, the tech careers and all of that. Then he will now go ahead to, to dive into the learning process, all right, and the tracks that we have for you at games that would enable you to get into this space, all right, and then we'll answer many of the questions you guys have posed. Some you guys asked some questions in the application and the registration for the webinar, and so it will be answering some of those questions and clarifying, any of the details that need to be clarified for you to have full understanding of what you're getting into and what this whole tech space is really pretty much about. So, Mr. Samuel, you can hear me. Let's get over to you. Is Samuel with us? Mr. Samuel, confirm if you can hear me so that I just hand over this meeting to you. Okay, it looks like, it's in the meeting. I don't know if you can hear. Could it be network, internet issues? So based on what I've said so far, right? I've said a lot of things. While we wait for Samuel, I think I might just represent the screen. I would like you to ask the questions in case there was something that was not clear in what I was explaining, right? So I've given you a breakdown of the values and virtues at games. I broke it down into 3 levels, right? The habitual level, the reasoning level, and the delivery level. So do you have any questions based on these 9 points that that have been raised, the 9 values? Is there any area you would want further clarification so that we just quickly attend to that while Samuel gets himself ready to join the meeting and to take it up from here? Anyone? Anyone?
Good evening. Please, I would like you to clarify this CLCD mindset in the habitual.
Okay, that's a good one. So by CLCD, one of the habitual values, what we simply mean is continuous learning, continuous development. So we just, borrow the software engineering lingo of CI/CD, which is continuous integration, continuous delivery, right? So for us here, this continuous learning, continuous development, which pretty much means it doesn't matter how much you've known or how much skill or knowledge you've acquired in your area of specialty, you should be aggressively pursuing knowledge, all right? Pursue growth in that area, okay? So it doesn't matter how experienced I am in data science, I still continue to push my limits, my boundaries. I continue to learn more. I continue to, to dissect or digest current research and current developments in the field. I'm after the current innovations and the current trends. I monitor a lot of, these trends, and I just try to make sure that I can sustain the conversations of modern developments in data science. So that's pretty much, even when you've got to the level, you've put in some 5 years in the field, and you've got to the level of professional excellence in that area. You got to the level of industry recognition, and people already know you. They know what you can do. They know how much you can deliver. Even if you have gotten to this level, we still want you to continue to pursue knowledge, to continue to pursue learning, continue to pursue development. So it simply means that there's no comfort zone for you if you want to accelerate in tech, right? Because there are always going to be new developments in the field. And so if you are going to set yourself apart, there's no comfort zone for you. You must be hungry and aggressive for innovation. You must be hungry for your growth in that field. You must continuously pursue development. All right. So that's pretty much what CLCD entails. I hope you now understand what that is all about.
Yes. I got it.
So any other person, is any other person who needs any clarifications across these values and virtues? Anyone? Is Mr. Sam ready for us? Internet can be a very terrible thing in this part of the world, So even when you're so prepared for something, internet can just mess up the whole thing. Anyways, if you still have questions, let me know. If it doesn't come up in time, I will just start, treating a couple of the ideas, and when it comes up, I'll just now hand it over to him so that we don't waste any time in this meeting. I, for one, have a meeting to jump to by 7, so I just want to quickly get this done so that I get over with my meeting. Okay, so I'll just start treating some of these areas. For the training approach, right? For our programs at Games, okay, we have been able to identify, a structure by which we want to deliver the our trainings, in order to enrich your experience, your learning experience, and help you get the most out of the time you'll be committing to the programs, right? So I'm not going to go into the details about the programs yet, because that's pretty much Samuel's part. So you'll be sharing more about the programs, share more about the tech space in general, and about the tech careers in general. And then it will now give us insights into the various career paths we have at Games. But before that, I'll take this training approach that we use at Games, our structure at Games. So we do the cohort-based learning. Pretty much what we mean by that is that we're taking students and learners cohort by cohort, right? So we just categorize in cohorts, and then we pay full attention to those cohorts. We tailor the learning and the delivery to your specific needs, right? So we may not go to specific at the individual level because of the number of students we'll be dealing with, but we'll try as much as possible to make sure that each person is getting the most out of the learning outcomes. Then we have precision-driven learning models and precision-driving training models. When we use terms like this, right, at first glance, it might not be something you just understand at first glance, which is, of course, why we are here, to clarify the details, right? But we have to use the terms because they are the terms that capture the essence of what we're doing. So if we further simplify them, that is, if we use simpler terms, they might not carry, the exact precision that we want. All right. So when we want to deconstruct them, it's now left to us to break it down at a level that everyone now understands what we mean. And we say precision-driven and precision-driving. So precision-driven learning models, which means we are implementing, learning processes driven by precision. And so when we say driven by precision, it means we have tested methods, right? We have tested several methods and we know the ones that work. And so we fine-tune the learning models, that is our delivery, the way we train you, the way we execute the learning processes. We fine-tune them in such a way, that we are following the methods that work based on what we've identified after trying a lot of methods, and we see the ones that are most precise in properly inculcating, inculcating the learning outcomes, helping you to attain the skill in that learning area, right? So these learning models that we implement are driven by precision, right? So we have, several of the strategies that we try to implement, right? And one of the things that Sam will be talking about, but I don't want to go into full details into that yet. It would be the tracks are organized in such a way that we blend, several methods. For example, we have our live sessions, but we don't just have only live sessions. We also have pre-recorded sessions, right? We also have assessments, we have labs, we have projects, right? We have portfolio projects, and so we blend all of these things so that despite giving you, a full dose of what we need to give you, we also want you to be able to follow it at your pace, right? It doesn't mean you would need to slow down, everyone, or even be slow yourself, but you can always go back to the materials later and follow it at your own pace. Even if you miss a particular live session, you should be able to come back again, to the materials, follow the live sessions. Then you have, pre-recorded sessions that break down the concepts, shorter videos, shorter sessions that you can follow concept by concept that allows you to now, slowly digest the concept that has been delivered. And so we experiment a lot on the various methods, and we try to, as much as possible, keep improving the methods. We keep fine-tuning the methods, which is why we now say that these models we utilize are precision-driven because they are born out of testing and experimenting. They are born out of precision in the various methods that we have tested. Then the third category is precision driving, which looks like it's very it looks pretty much close to the previous bullet point. But what we really have here is we are saying that when we are delivering now, right? When we're delivering, we want our delivery to drive precision. Precision in what? Precision in information gain, precision in assimilation for the learners, right? The other one is driven by precision in our methodology. For this other one, the models we're going to be using as we are training your delivery is going to be driving precision towards you, right? So we are going to be efficiently giving you what you need to get. And when you go through the learning process, you're not wasting your time, right? Your time is being maximized. You are getting the most out of the lectures. You are getting the most out of the projects, and you are coming out, within such a short time, you see how much you've learned and how much you've grown. There are a couple of persons that, before they come into programming, it looks like programming is this very high mountain that seems so unsurmountable until you get in and you realize that, when we take you through our precision driving training models, in so short a time, within a month, you're already programming, you're already doing some programming, building some programming solutions. You're writing algorithms, you're building functions, you're able to solve problems, you're even able to develop algorithms from scratch. For example, in data science, you learn how to utilize utilize various data science frameworks and algorithms, right? Pre-made algorithms, right? But then you would also understand the workings of the algorithms and even constructively and creatively create yours, right? So for many of them, right, there are some you don't need to have to know how they work or how to build yours from scratch, but you will learn how to reason about those models, you know. And the same logic applies to even the software engineering tracks, and business analytics and so on. Then we have cutting edge didactic methods, which means instructional methods are cutting edge. All right. So we continuously, we are not perfect, right? When we are presenting this, we're not telling you that we are perfect or we expect you to, to have or to get perfection in what we're doing. No, we can't achieve perfection right away, right? But we have a structure on ground, we have the vision, and then we are implementing these processes to continue to fine tune the structure until we really have something that is, that is well recognized globally as, probably the leading or the best method out there. And so we use a lot of cutting edge instructional methods to drive home the trainings. All right, so that when you are coming out of those those tracks, those boot camps, right, you are coming out fully baked. You're coming out fully baked. I will repeat again. I will say this for emphasis. You're not going to be an expert after going through 4 months or 5 months of learning, right? You're not going to be an expert, but you're going to get to a level where you're able to stand. You have a strong foundation. It's now about you continuing to work that skill on the job, because mastery will not come just after you've learned. Your skill comes after you've learned, right? For mastery at that skill, your mastery at that skill would come as you begin to implement what you've learned, as you begin to follow apply what you've learned, and you begin to improve upon the learnings. You make some mistakes, you find out what works and what doesn't work, you learn from those mistakes, you reinforce the knowledge of the things that work, you enrich your perspectives, and you continue to implement all of these things for mastery. So it's a continuous learning, continuous development process, just like pretty much what I've mentioned earlier. So that's, those are some of the things that we have for you for our training approach. At this point, I'm just going to usher in Samuel if he's ready. Mr. Samuel, are you ready for us? Let me know or you can send me a message privately, because I can see you in the meeting. I don't know if it's internet issues that you're having. The questions, all right? So the questions, Samuel has the questions that we will be taking to answer the questions you guys have asked. But probably while we're waiting for Samuel, I might just take in a couple of questions so that we don't have any lag, right? We don't have any lag in this whole this webinar. Always the thing of anyone, if you have your questions, just drop the questions now, because I don't have access to the questions that you guys have asked. Someone is to take those questions and to give you the answers. So while I'm waiting for him to show up, we can just do a live chat, right? So pretty much it's like we are just jumping to the end, in the middle, jumping to the end, while waiting for Samuel to come on board and take over the rest of the session. If you have your questions, you can unmute your mic and ask the question. Anyone? If you have your questions, shoot now. Shoot the questions. And I'll be taking those questions. We already have some questions that so someone will be going through. Okay, some of the questions you guys have sent ahead. But in case there was anyone here who didn't ask questions, or maybe based on what I've shown you so far, if you have questions you would like to push out, or areas you would like to get clarifications on, you can just unmute your mics and let me know. Based on this current slide, since you have refused to ask questions, I'm not going to start asking you what you understand. From what I explained, if you've been able to understand what I mean, by precision-driven learning models, what I explained about precision-driven learning models are games and precision-driven driving training models. So I will just take, if you want to respond to that, respond. Otherwise, I might just point anyone. So who can tell me what they understand by precision-driven learning models? Okay, let me just point at anyone in the meeting. Who is Chisom Edoka? Can you answer that? Is Chisom with us? Just to be sure you guys are following, because I've said a lot already, and I want to be sure you guys understood what I've explained so far. Since you're not asking questions, then I assume you understand, but I want to hear it from you. All right, while we're waiting for Chisom, Gospel Young, can you go ahead with the question? Can you proceed and answer the question?
About the precision driving model.
Which one are you explaining? Precision driving or precision driven?
Precision driven learning.
Okay, go ahead.
My own understanding able to get from there is where you mentioned that most of this have been tested. Most of the models have been tested and confirmed on stage. So that's okay.
Okay, that's a good one. So, it's out of, things we've tested, we've been able to see the ones that are precise, right? The ones that can really deliver the results that we desire. All right, so is Samuel with us now? Mr. Samuel, Mr. Sam Ayo. I think he has had some network interruptions because I've been off and on. Oh, finally. Can you hear me? Sir. Can you hear me?
Hear you louder. Yeah.
Okay. So are you ready? Are you good to go?
Yeah, I'm set. I think I have the network.
Okay, so I'll just stop my presentation.
plays and how it directly affects our lives. So we'll look at that critically, so you have nothing to worry about. My name is Sam Ayo, and I'll be leading on the drive from here on till when we get to the close of cutting for this program. So Breaking into Tech 2022, yeah, it's a new year, and everybody wants to just stroll into tech to carry that badge, use an Apple laptop. I think that's what everybody believes, that when you're into tech, you have to start using Apple laptop so that everybody begins to feel that this is not a tech bro. So what does it mean? All right. So what I'll walk you through, aside from what my predecessor as my lead has done, I'll walk you through what the force is about tech. Then we'll look at big opportunities in tech. And then from there, we'll look at training careers in tech. And then how games helps you achieve this. And then we'll go ahead and take some of the questions. All right. So I'll whatever this is, wherever we're headed, I'll try to make it as flowing as possible and engaging as possible, so you have nothing to worry about. Before I go on, I want to be sure that everyone can hear me. So it's going to be a bit rowdy, but I just want to do it so I'm sure everyone can hear me. So if you can hear me, please unmute your mic and just let me know you can hear me, and just say, yes, I can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
I think we've done through the mission and vision of what games is. All right, so I'm just going to use this three-liner to look at what the force is tech about. So what the force is tech, what the force is tech about, actually. So we can look at technology as a sum of any technique and or application of scientific knowledge as a method in the production of goods or services or in the accomplishment of an objective. So whatever we say tech is, it is just a sum of technique and a sum of application of scientific knowledge. So whatever means that now comes through is up to you. Whether you're using coding and programming, whether you're into fintech, health tech, social tech, whatever version of tech you're into, all we're all just doing is applying scientific knowledge as a method for production of goods and services. All right. Apologies for the background noise. So that's what we're just doing, long and short. All right. So when somebody says I'm into tech, all you're just doing is you're applying scientific knowledge with different techniques put together to achieve a particular goal. Whether you're creating a product for a fintech, you're into a data analysis, or you're into data science, whatever it is you're into, all tech is sitting upon is the term technology and just a fusion of different techniques. All right, so then let's look at training careers in tech. All right, training careers in tech. We have data science, we have machine learning and AI. Okay, so before I even go forward, let me stop at data science. And what I'll do for the next 2 to 3 minutes is I want us to use the chat. All right, so I want you to go into the chat, especially this term data science. Let's go into the chat and just give me your own version of what you think is data science. I'd like to look forward to that. Let's use the chat. Tell me what you think is your own version of data science. There's a lot of definition of what data science is, a lot out there. So what do you think is the definition of data science? How does data science really apply to you? And I hope my slide has been moving. Because I can see that my slide is somehow showing it's stuck on Okay, so while I wait for that, let me be sure that my slide was initially sharing as I wanted it to. Oh, I see. So the activity is what you think is data science, and your own version actually of what data science is. Okay, beautiful. I see something coming now. Basically entails using various tools and techniques to extract insights from data that can be used to drive business decisions. Shortly before this call, I had a conversation with one of my superiors. I consider a top mentor, about how data science, data analysis, data analytics, how they come together and what is exactly the relationship. Because some say they are data scientists, some say they are data analysts, some say they do data analysis, and everybody's just data here, data there. All right, so while we wait for that to roll in, what you think is data science, let me move on. So we have machine learning and AI. These are top trending careers in tech right now. Front-end engineering, back-end engineering, UI UX design. Okay, sometimes people refer to it as product design. So whether we say product design or UI UX design, we are talking about virtually the same thing. Okay, so someone says using data or information to interpret, predict, and solve problems. Big. Okay, someone says I'm interested in backend. Definitely, good role. I've had a bit of share of backend myself, a good bite of backend. So I really encourage the interest. We can help and nest and grow it. Yeah, I will give more details, definitely. We'll get there. I'll break every single thing down. When we get to the Q&A as well, Tete, you can, storm the call and request every single clarity that you need. Okay. Yeah, with zero IT background, definitely. Okay, the way I'm reading the chat now from it looks like a video presenter. So I'll just try not to do that too often. All right, so we have UI UX design, cloud engineering, blockchain and apps development, DevOps engineering, cybersecurity, technical writing, mobile application development, and PWA development. Machine learning, front end and back end. So machine learning and AI, okay, so it's a subset of data science, and front end engineering is software engineering track. Should we say track or stack? No, we will say stack. Let's refer to it as a track, all right? If a track in software engineering, all right, where you can belong to. So we have front end engineering, then we also have back end engineering. All right. So while front-end engineering, we can refer to it as interface. All right. So we can use front-end engineering as the interface. So let's say you're building a house. All right. So when people come to your house for the first time, and they are just outside your gates, what they see is the front end. All right. What they see is the front end. And then when they go into the house, they enter and they see the interior core. Then that's the back-end engineering. All right. So they go side by side. And majority of the time, people can actually be front-end and back-end together, and that makes them full stack. Front-end engineering has a lot of frameworks and libraries that make it possible. HTML, CSS, JavaScript, then frameworks and libraries, Bootstrap, React, JS, Angular JS, Vue.js. All right, so these power front-end engineering. And then backend engineering, we have Python with Django and Flask. We have JavaScript with Node.js. We have Golang. We have C#. We have .NET. So there's a lot of backend engineering languages, scripting languages that make it possible to flow. Can one be good at both front-end and backend? Yes, exactly, Tete. You can be a full stack. I'm a full stack developer. So you can be good at both front end and back end. But the truth there is you end up being powerful. You have a core. So my core is back end. I'm a full stack developer. My core is on back end engineering with Python. So yes, you can be good at both front end and back end. Okay, so let me move on. So immersion with games. All right. So majority of the time when we say we are from games, most people automatically assume that we make games. So they assume we make games, 3D games, arcade, RPG, and the likes. So no, what GAME stands for is Global Academy for Mathematical Economic Sciences. And we choose this because we envisage that in the future, the framework of technology will be powered by mathematical and economic sciences. Yeah.
based on our research. It will be powered by mathematical and economic scientists. Not saying every other field is useless and irrelevant, no, but we're saying that's going to be the framework and bedrock of how it will all flow in the future. And that's why we are putting our full throttle on that place. Like Dr. Zion must have mentioned, precision-driven and precision-driving technique that we employ here at Games. All right, so yeah, I think, so let me just walk this through our training approach. Oh, okay, beautiful. Values and virtue. Aha, fantastic. So what I'll do is I'm going to switch my slide now. All right, so I'm going to switch my slide and I'm going to take us a walkthrough of what we offer at Games. Tete has asked almost like a lot of questions. Yeah, Tete, don't worry. I'm going to crack all those your questions soon. So what I'm going to do now is, before we move into the Q&A, which is more like the next section of what we're going to be handling, I will walk us through what we offer at Games, the key courses and modules that we offer at Games, and how this can tie to you and help elevate your career from where it is, whether you're zero in tech or you're already mid-level or approaching maestro level. All right, so share my screen and then we can look at it together. All right, so this is our website on Games. All right, with Career Growth Incubator. So the Career Growth Incubator is our experience, our learning experience that is designed to help you break the barrier at the lower level and have you kickstart into an amazing tech career. All right, it can help you kickstart and push you straight into having a life-changing tech career. All right, so I'm going to start with looking at some of the modules that we offer. Have CGI data scientist. So what does CGI mean? Career Growth Incubator. All right, so we have our data scientist track, we have our AI associate track, business analyst track, front-end engineering track, back-end engineering track, and then we have the advanced data scientist track. All right, so let's quickly walk through what it is and how it entails everything that goes into each of these modules, career path at the same time. So we have, for the data scientist track, we have about 40 practical modules with 80 plus hours intensive learning across 10 plus amazing experts, which allows you to build 5 plus amazing portfolio projects. Yeah, so that's how it ties up across themselves. The goal is at the end of the day to make you so immersed in the field that at the end of the day, you are already empowered to go on. All right. And so what are the key skills you learn from our skills track? You're going to learn statistical techniques and inferencing, Python, Matplotlib, NumPy, Pandas, data robots, SQL, sklearn, and then Power BI. All right. So each of these are broken into different parts from part 1 down to part 5. Okay. Our part 1 covers breaking into data science, Python and math fundamental, working with data, EDA and statistical inference, and then the part 5 covering machine learning. All right. So then the program runs from 4 to 5 months. Okay, so it's going to be 4 to 5 months of amazing, immersive learning. Yeah, where you get to also build your own project. All right, so I'm going to move on down to the main part that gets you engaged in. So we offer each of these modules at a 60,000 low price tuition fee that encourages 3 months, 3-part payment installments, 3-part payment installments to get you eased in to experience our learning. All right, so it's 60,000, but of course we provide flexibility of 3-part payment installations, so you can spread it across your learning experience and get empowered as you go. All right. So, okay, before I go on, does anybody have any question before I go on? Although there will be question time, but of course, I want to open the door for just a few questions now before we do every other. Does anybody have any question? Okay, so while we wait for that to come up, let's look at some other track. Let's look at the front-end engineering track. All right, so for the front-end engineering track, we offer modules. For the front-end engineering track, we offer modules in 6 parts. All right, so we have the internet and web fundamentals. We have the web development with HTML and CSS. Then we have Bootstrap 4 and advanced CSS. Then we have JavaScript and interactive design. Then development and deployment cycles. And then at part 6, you have React, Redux, and beyond. So let me expand one of these. Oh, okay, let me go back. Let me start with the data science so we can see it expand, so we can see what I mean. Okay, good. Let me expand all of these. All right. So, so what is entailed in each of these parts? So it's more like one with many inside of it. So we have breaking into data science, introduction to data and analytics, the data value chain, data strategy. So each of these entails in a single mode, in a single part. All right. Each of these courses entail in a single part. So it's designed. The program is designed to ensure that you are packed up with value, both data understanding, that's for data science track, both data understanding and data implementation and operations. All right, so it's designed to full pack value back to back. All right, and the same applies to majority of the other tracks as well. They are all put in to give you an immersive learning style and an immersive learning value for your money, of course. And then for the machine learning part, we have machine learning pattern discovery, machine learning predictive analytics, feature engineering best practices, ensembles and model combination, evaluating machine learning models, and the likes as it goes. So for good 4 to 5 months, it is going to be an intensive learning experience where we ensure that we cover every single thing that pertains to your learning and immersing you fully into the tech space with all the relevant and needed information to ensure that you end up finishing out top 50% of industry entrants at the end of your program with us. I'm just going to move on from here. I'm going to move on from here into, give me a second. Let me go back to sharing my slide. Yeah. All right, so so this is what our certificate looks like. This is what our certificate looks like at games. So you've gone through the track, you've taken through the learnings. This is what our certificate is going to look like. And for our scholarships, a lot of people have been asking us, what does the scholarship entail? All right, so this is what our scholarship entails, especially for students and corps members. We offer 75% off your tuition fee as a waiver for students and corps members who intend to apply for the program across any tertiary university in tertiary institution rather in Nigeria or currently serving your NYSC. Okay, so I'm going to stop here for my presentation, and then what I'm going to do here on is I saw a lot of questions that we have when we signed up for them, and then after that, we are going to take our live questions. All right. I want to be sure that I still have your audience.
Yes, sir. I can hear from you.
All right, beautiful. Start with looking at some of the questions that came in. What does data science entail? All right, so what does data science really entail? Data science is more like an umbrella. Data science as a massive umbrella. All right, it is an interdisciplinary field, wide and vast. In as much as we have tried as much as possible to fit data science into just one role, and one person can be a data scientist with all the techniques and all the necessary knowledge that it needs to thrive in data science. Well, what does it really entail to be a data scientist? I would summarize it by saying that you have strong grasp of statistical inferencing techniques. You have good qualitative knowledge of SQL operations. You also have some solid knowledge of scripting languages that entails data science, or should we say that is in vogue with data science. Then in that case, we look at Python, we look at R, and you're also able to draw out insights from data, all right, whether predictive or prescriptive, using statistical inferencing technique, all right, to draw out business insight as values that can be communicated to a wide range of audience or that can be sold as a product. All right, so in a nutshell, that is what data science entails. So the next question says, will there be a scholarship for the eventual training? So all our trainings are paid. However, we provide 75% scholarship for students and corp members, but all our trainings are actually paid. All right, our trainings are paid. However, we provide 3 months. We provide installation in 3 parts, so you can have 3-part payments for your installation to get started. All right, so the next question says, what does it take to become a data analyst and financial analyst? Well, you can either be one, not both, because a financial data analyst and a financial analyst are 2 separate people. A data analyst and a financial analyst are also 2 separate people, so you can only be one. Financial data analyst, a data analyst that specializes in the world of finance, or a financial analyst in itself.
Okay, Mr. Samuel, if you can hear us, we can't hear you. Your mic is mute.
Mr. Samuel, please verify that you're not on mute. Please check your mic. Possibly you've muted your mic.
Hello, can you hear me now? Hello?
Yes, we can't hear you.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Please, let me go back. I thought I was okay. So I think this was where I think I lost. I lost.
Yes. Are you saying something because we still can't hear you? Is it just you?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hello. So sorry.
Yes,
I think
I can.
my network.
Okay.
So I said you're either a data analyst, financial analyst, or a financial data analyst. All right. So you can't be one. You can either be a financial data analyst, which is also a data analyst, or you can be a financial analyst. All right. So what does it take to become any of these? If you say what does it take to become a data analyst? Yeah, of course. To be a data analyst, you need to understand the art of data analysis. All right, which is providing descriptive insights on data through statistical inferencing. All right. While to be a financial data analyst, of course, you be a data analyst who has some full two-hand grasp on the world of finance and provide data analysis through financial interpretations. While to be a financial analyst, that's a whole different ballgame on its own. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Dr. Zion to provide more clarity, to provide some other contribution on how to best help you provide answer to this particular question. Because I will give you from what I think it is, but let's just hear what some more in-depth expert in the field has to say.
Dr. Zion, are you still here? If he's not, I think Mr. Precious is here, so I think he can also provide some answer to this particular question. Mr. Precious, can you hear me? If you can't, please, we are placing an SOS call to you to help us, give us some professional insight. Okay, so while we wait for him to come up, I think what I said suffices. There are 3 different areas altogether, and the financial analyst is an analyst. But you cannot install tools and do the necessary computation on a phone. That is why you need a laptop. Imagine installing TensorFlow on your phone and trying to predict a model that has a data size of 1.5 gig. How in the world do you plan to do that on a 4 gig RAM processor phone? All right. So, and working with Python, how many libraries are you going to install on your phone? So if you look at it, the stress, if you compute the stress it takes to work on a mobile phone against the ease of buying a laptop, you realize that it is not worth it. So my answer to you is no. You cannot go into tech without a laptop. You need a laptop for the ease of it, for the flow of it. All right. So I will not tell you yes, and I will not provide you tools that will punish you. All right. So let's go on. What does it entail to be a full stack developer? Why does it feel to me that this is Tete's question? Tete, is this your question? Can Tete still hear me? Am I even pronouncing it correctly?
Yes, you can see.
Okay, so what does it entail to be a full stack developer? So to be a full stack developer, the requirement or the basis of being a full stack developer is that you have good grasp of backend engineering and front-end engineering relative to a stack. So there are a lot of full stack blocks. We have PAN, which is Postgres, Express, React, and Node. We have MAN, MongoDB, Express, React, and Node. We have React and Django. We have Django and Bootstrap. We have Flask and Bootstrap. So it's elaborate out there. So it's just a block that you belong to. So what it entails to be a full stack developer is you have good grasp of front-end engineering, good grasp of back-end engineering, and you understand the use of any of these in-demand blocks that I've mentioned. Then we can say you are a full stack. That's what it entails. What is the future of artificial intelligence? The future of artificial intelligence is the future. Metaverse, 3D gaming, IoT, Internet of Things, IOR, Internet of Recognition. So the future of intelligence is the future. All right, AI remains, AI is. So I'll move on. How do we harmonize finance, tech, and data science? You have to be a tech entrepreneur to do this. You want to harmonize finance, tech, and data science? Well, then you have to be a financial analyst, or you have good knowledge of finance. You have to have good grasp of what is tech. Of course, we know tech is very, very wide and vast. We've looked at a few amazing roles in tech. And then data science. Of course, if you have good knowledge of data science. If you are looking to harmonize these 3, then of course you are looking at yourself as being an entrepreneur who wants to create something. So then we can say, okay, harmonize. Please go ahead and harmonize and make whatever you want to make. So if you want to harmonize it, you should have good knowledge of finance. Of course, have good sound knowledge of what tech is that's related to your field. And of course, data science is all a field in tech. So you have good knowledge of these 3.
then you are an entrepreneur if we look at you from a good eye. And that is how you can analyze it. Okay, so I'm going to stop here while I keep the register panel open. If you want to walk through and look at what we offer at Games, you can do it by visiting this link. And then from this point, I'm going to open the floor for the next 15 minutes. If you have any question regarding this or regarding anything around tech, let's do that for the next 15 minutes, and then I'll close the curtain, and we can say we had a fantastic day. All right, so if you have a question, please use the chat to drop your question, and then I will call you up to ask a question in person so that we can keep things a bit more moderated. Any question? Okay, the questions are now coming in. Great. Okay, Karen, you can go ahead and unmute your mic and ask your question.
Thank you. My question is, how do people innovate ideas into technology nowadays? Because it seems like there's an app for everything. So you, as a beginner, how would you be able to make a difference?
Innovator in the house. Okay, beautiful answer. Beautiful question, rather. How do you innovate ideas into tech now? Because it seems everyone, yeah. So innovation in itself is a mental process. Okay, innovation is a mental process. There's an app for everything, because to innovate, you need to first identify needs. All right. And because we are humans and our needs are insatiable, there will always be needs out there that needs to be met. All right. So if you want to innovate in the field of data science or in the field of tech at large, you need to identify needs. People have needs. Once you identify needs, then you can bet innovation. And innovation doesn't have to be new. All right. The term innovation does not have to be new. When I say new, I mean you don't have to go into a deep trance and bring out something that never existed. You can make something better. And yeah, that's innovation. You make something that already exists better. You make it much more unique. And right there and there, you have bettered a new space in innovation. All right. So I hope I answered your question.
Yes, you did. Thank you.
All right. Next, anybody with a question? We do that for the next 15 minutes. One.
All right, so good question. Is it a weekday or a weekend program? So it's our programs are flexible. We cut across both weekday and weekends depending on the availability of the students. Because it's a fully virtual program, it's highly flexible that provides flexibility for you if you prefer weekday or you prefer weekend. Also as well because it's online and virtual, it also provides you with access to recording. Say you had a tight engagements and you could not meet up with the class. Does that answer your question, Adegoke? All right. So I still have some few minutes. If you have a question. Anybody with a question? So I just want to be sure that I have provided enough clarity to every single question that could be within the box. Not just only for tech alone, but also for data science, front-end engineering, back-end engineering, all at large, in and out. How to transition, how to move in, especially if you have zero IT background. It's actually not a barrier if you have zero IT background or you have zero knowledge of what tech is. It's actually not a barrier at all. We've seen people come from zero background of IT and become stars in this tech space. So zero background or zero knowledge of IT is never and has never been a stumbling block. All right. So if there are no more questions, I think we can close the program from here, and hope to have more iterative ones where we can look at some specific tracks and then talk more about it, and even go as far as have some free practical classes to really demonstrate what it means to share or show knowledge strength within this field, whether front-end engineering, back-end engineering, and some of the key projects that we offer at Games, so you can have something to butter up as you slide into the world of IT at large. All right, so I'm going to stop from here, and we continue again in the next session of Breaking into Tech. My name is Sam Ayo, and please, everybody, do have a wonderful night. Bye.